What is going on, guys? Nick here again today. Back at you with another draft strategy video. Today it's going to be where you should be drafting Arian Foster. You should know by now, he hurt his groin and he's going to require surgery for that in the preseason. He's not going to be back for week 1. Most likely he will come back this season, but when's he going to be 100%? I mean, the estimates right now are like him coming back between weeks like 4 and 10, so you really don't know. But the thing is, he's going to come back, and if it's not an injury that he's going to re-injure, that's why they're doing the surgery. He's going to come back perfectly healthy. So unless he gets a different injury, you're going to see the old Arian Foster back at some point in the year. So the question is, where do you draft him? And this is actually a really important thing, because if you end up drafting him, and you need to draft him in a spot basically where you're not reliant on him coming back. So preferably you have 2, not elite, but solid running backs. Depending on where your wide receivers are, they don't have to be as good. You know, if you do wide receiver, first 2 rounds, maybe you don't really need that great of running backs. We need to be able to make your team to a point where it can make the playoffs and win if he doesn't come back. Because then, if he does come back, say he comes back week 6, you've now got a top 5 running back, and you drafted him in a spot where he could be RB3. So I'm thinking right now, if you're in a 12-team league, round 6 or 7 is where I'd be taking him. At that point, you've probably got about 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, or 2 wide receivers, 3 running backs. And at that point, you don't need him to come back until very late in the season. And if you can hold off until that point and you get the old Arian Foster back, that may win you your championship. Getting him in the 7th round of a 12-team league, where maybe the first 2 rounds you went wide receiver heavy and you got Dez Bryant and AJ Green. Then maybe you got like a Jonathan Stewart. After that, you could have got maybe Latavius Murray. If you come back and you've got Foster to add to that bunch, you're golden. I mean, he will win you your championship if he comes back. And that's what people need to realize is it's possible he comes back week 4 perfectly healthy. But it's also possible he comes back like week 10. And we don't really know that yet. We'll know a lot more at the start of the season. But as of now, which a lot of people are drafting right now, 12-team league, if you're in like the 6th or 7th round, I'd take him. 8-team league, probably like the 7th or 8th round. And if your team has an IR spot, then it might bump up maybe 1 or 2 rounds from there. But he's the kind of guy, you can take him, and you know that if he comes back early, you may have just won your championship with that draft pick. And there's not many people that you can draft there that you can say that for. I mean, some of the guys you're drafting in that position, they just don't have the upside that Arian Foster does. And honestly, they might have the same downside. I mean, some of these guys you're drafting in like the 7th round, they might be total duds this year. So why not take a shot on Arian Foster in the hopes that he comes back even halfway through the season, the same Arian Foster we've seen that can be basically the #1 running back in the league. That's all I have for you today. Don't be scared of drafting him. If you like the video, leave a like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'll be coming out with more strategy videos. And that's all for today.